All right, last bits of sort of new material for this unit. We've previously been talking mostly about an individual. So everything's been sort of the unit of analysis, if you will, has been this individual human, and we've been unpacking them in terms of the way an individual would take information, would bring it in, would then process it, and then act upon it, make decisions. Now, what's really important is that we think about when we've got multiple human beings together working as part of a collective to do some work. What happens? Is it just the case that we can think of it as a lot of individual parts, all doing their individual thing, and that won't influence each other? Or spoiler alert, no, that's not how it works. When we bring lots of individuals together, we all influence each other, and there's one person influences another person's doing what they do, back influences another person, and we have these sort of emergent effects called group dynamics. And that's really important to consider. Everything, and I'm surprised nobody's mentioned this so far, but we haven't yet mentioned crew resource management. And normally when somebody thinks about human factors at the sort of psychological level, the first thing we talk about is crew resource management. And actually, weirdly, in this unit, it's probably the last thing we're going to talk about. I'll mention it in this module. But it's sort of like the end effect of what happens when you put all of these parts together. So it's really important. It's probably some of the thing that I find most fascinating. So sort of it's a bit social psychology. It's how we interact as groups, how we are going back to that sort of pack animal historical evolutionary behavior that we have embedded within us. So yeah, it's surprising. I think sometimes there's a couple of videos of external videos that I'm putting in this unit, which I've always found surprising, and still to this day, I think I find it counterintuitive. It doesn't feel like that's the way humans would behave, but evidence shows us that they will. So yeah, just go through this module with an open mind and be prepared to learn things about sort of group behavior that you didn't expect to be true, and try and reflect it into your own world. How can you contextualize it? How do you see the things that I'm teaching being relevant in your experience of working in groups? And this may not be something which is immediately apparent in your aviation work at the moment, but when you come into the workplace and you are working in groups, and eventually you will be leading groups, because that's the point of doing this degree, that you will eventually go through the chain and be the leader of those groups, then these effects will become very apparent, and it'll be very, very useful to understand them. All right, so I hope you enjoy.